Late April means crunch time for many of North Central's teams, and we have both tennis squads in to chat about their end-of-season push. And we check in on the family affair that is the men's tennis team. All that and more is next on the Cardinal Report.
Liftoff.
Men's tennis takes the hot seat first, but before we get to our guests, let's head out to Shanauer Field for an update on Cardinal softball. Jim Kalawiak and his bunch coming into a doubleheader against Wheaton 15-11 and an impressive 5-1 in conference play. The exciting pitching matchup on tap, Andrea Starr going for the Cardinals, Katie Thornton for the Thunder. Overcast and breezy afternoon, the perfect setting for a twin billing at Shanauer Field. Star's up first. She enters with a .188 ERA this season over 104 1/3 innings. First hitter, Elisa Leonard. First casualty via strikeout. Backwards K to start the game, just setting the tone for the rest of the game. Ending the first just as it began, Starr getting Ellen Randant swinging. Into the frame, time for the Cardinal bats to come up. But that means facing Thornton. She, of the .87 ERA over 128 innings this year, it's a tall task. And early on, she has NCC's number, going 1, 2, 3 out of the gates. Couple of good swings, but we're officially locked in a pitcher's duel. Top of the second, 2 outs, and we get our first hit. Emily Bonga with a poke through the left side, but there's 2 outs, so Starr goes back to work, inducing a ground ball to third, and retires the side without a problem. Fast forwarding to the bottom of the third, no score, Cardinals getting their first base knock off the bat of Taylor Clugston. Leadoff single for the third baseman. Time for some small ball. Brooke Kehoe at the dish, and she lays down a beauty of a bunt. Clugston now in scoring position with just 1 gone. Next batter, Sarah Esposito smacks one in the hole, but Wheaton shortstop Megan Newhouse with a nice beat on it, and she gets the 6-3 ground out. Now 2 outs, and Samantha Anderson can't connect. The Cards leave a duck on the pond. Top 4, 1 gone, Newhouse in the box, and she flies one deep to right. And check out this grab from Jenna Amazalorso. Look what I found! Beautiful play, and it keeps a runner off the base paths, which is pretty big because, well, next batter, Christina Stenstedt lifts off. Deep shot over the wall, solo homer, Thunder's lead 1-0. Starr trying to help herself. Bottom 5, still 1-0. She pulls one left side, and it clinks off the glove of Newhouse. Leadoff base hit. Amazalorso, the next hitter. And again, the Cardinals pushing to manufacture that run with a bunt. Starr down to second base. Unfortunately, similar to what happened back in the third, happens here again. Clugston goes down swinging, and then Kehoe chops one to third. Inning over for Thornton. Top 6, Newhouse pops one up to right, but it finds no man's land. Wheaton back on the board with a run. They score twice in the 6th, make it 3-0. Top 7, and, well, the wheels start to fall off a tad. An error leads to a pair of runs scoring. Wheaton finishing up the 7th with 7 runs, aided by 3 Cardinal errors. A chance in the bottom half, but nothing going. The Cardinals drop Game 1 7-0. Game 2, much of the same, as Thornton claims another win. NCC drops a pair and is now 15-13 on the season. Welcome in. Nick DeFalco joins me first on set. And Coach, Mason Sass told me that one of your goals this season was to win 10 games, and here you are, 10-9 on the season. You've won 10 games. How important is it for this program to get there?
It's incredibly important. I mean, from not just a confidence standpoint, but you also want to be rewarded a little bit. No matter how many times Coach tells you, you guys played really hard, you had a smart game plan, we gave it our all, we're doing so many things well. You can only hear that speech so many times without having some results to back it up. So for us getting to a milestone like that, when we play in easily one of the toughest conferences in the country, and to have some pretty serious non-conference opponents as well. So getting to double-digit wins is a huge accomplishment any year. That's why it's not easy for any team to do it.
Well, you guys haven't been there for a couple of years, and probably this is the best season since 2009, which just happened to coincide with the last time you gripped a racket in a Cardinal uniform.
Interesting how that works, yeah.
I don't know, maybe you're the good luck charm. It might be the case. You might have to ask for a pay raise. It's just a fact.
But what is it about this team that is boosting the program upwards?
It's depth. I mean, this has to be the biggest team, and at least since I've been a part of North Central since 2005, this is by far the biggest team we've ever had, and just loaded with talent from top to bottom. I don't feel uncomfortable having people, have injuries or other issues that come up and having to adjust the lineup. Feel totally confident with whoever is 7, 8, 9, even 10 in the depth chart stepping in and playing in the lineup. So that's a huge part of it. And then I think the work ethic that they put into it is really, really impressive, and something that Mason and I really enjoy. Even after the other day, we had lost a close match, and the guys all stayed afterwards, have a little players only team meeting, and I think those are the kind of things that you really see as a coach that excites you, and that accountability they create for themselves is what sets you up for success moving forward.
Now you talk about that depth, and it's been tested this year because your number one singles player, Oliver Mays, has been out with an injury. Has it been nice to see those guys step up into those roles and perform past where they were projected to start the year? Yeah.
I mean, you throw someone like Victor, a freshman, in the number one spots. I mean, that's a tall order. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes as a freshman having to do that. But then you go beyond that, and now you put sophomores that were developing really nicely. Now you're pushing them, like Adam, into a role where your number 4 spot, occasionally number 3 spot, a 5 spot. You're putting them throughout the lineup. Again, really tough to be there as even a sophomore, another underclassman. So to see how they've been able to mentally take that in, just like a lot of these sports, it's such a difficult mental hurdle to get over. So to see them overcome that, embrace it, and then go out there and put forth the work is really nice to see.
Now you mentioned Mason, who's your assistant coach, and the grad assistant coach. He played for 4 years. He graduated in 14, still back for 2 years. He's one of 3 Sass brothers that is currently under you right now. Is that nice? Is it interesting to see that dynamic play out day in and day out?
It is. It's great because, I mean, having brothers, it could go one way or another. They could butt heads a lot, or they could really, really embrace it. And the latter of it happens much, much more often than the former does.
Yeah.
So it's nice that they feel comfortable going to him saying, hey, I'm missing this ball. What's happening? Or I can't understand, why am I not hitting the shot? And he breaks it down with them, and sometimes he's very, very blunt, which is what a brother needs. And then sometimes he massages it a little bit more than a normal coach would. So it's really nice to see that dynamic, and I think it increases their effectiveness and the calm demeanor that they bring to the court then as well.
It's really interesting. It's kind of cool to watch play out. Before we let you go, I actually want to break down 3 volleys that we were able to take in against the Aurora team that you guys won, I think 8-1 against. This first one is a Sass brother. It's Connor, and this particular rally was a long one.
Yeah.
And if you're in Connor's shoes at this point, what are you thinking?
Well, he just put up a great lob over the backhand, which is what we always preach. And then he's rewarded with this guy pinning him back in the corner, chases it down, was able to get a ball just defensive, get the ball back into the baseline, neutralizes the threat, and then trenches into offense right away. So that's, I mean, really how you want it to play out. You get an amazing shot, that guy has another one back at you, chase it, neutralize it, so get back to even ground, and then immediately when you have that opportunity, get right back on offense. And that's what you saw him do, deep cross-court shot. Yep. And that guy obviously couldn't get to it, so it was nice. It worked out well for him.
Gave him a little round of applause at the end of that one.
Well deserved.
Nice kudos. The second play we're going to get to is Adam, and the lefty able to slice a shot inside the court of play, and looked like a pretty nice hit.
Right there is such a great start. Hits it deep and do the guy's backhand. So you're taking a difficult shot into his weakness, steps into the court, which a lot of times players just wait for the ball to come to them. He steps into the court, takes it early, hits it to the open space, and again, depth is the key. So he's got to run back and forth, make the court longer for your opponent. So it's a nice little 1-2 punch. Good setup there.
We heard when volleyball came in, they always want to hit deep. Is that the same case in tennis?
Without question. I mean, number one most important thing is get the ball in play.
Yeah.
Right? But number 2 is get it in deep to start points. You want to control the depth first. And that's a great payoff of exactly what happens when you can control the depth first. It allows you to move into the court, start playing offense sooner.
Speaking of, and this is kind of a perfect segue, here's Victor, and he's not playing very deep. He's playing right at the net.
No, that approach goes right into the guy's strength, and he gets bailed out with some really great hands at the net. Good footwork, gets back, and then that guy got stuck flat-footed, and Victor just controls the point. But that's something that's tough. You have an approach that goes right into the guy's forehand.
Yeah.
You're going to get in trouble 9 out of 10 times. And this was fortunately the 10th time. And he had quick enough hands to be able to block, and then had a really nice overhead, which is a tough shot to hit falling back like that into the open court.
reaction time, I can imagine, is pretty small when you're at the front.
We work on reflex volleys every day, so that's where it pays off.
Coach, we appreciate you stopping by, and best of luck in the CCIW Championships.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Coming up next, we have Victor Kruger and Adam Winters on set. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report.
Naturally, Mason was always better than us. He's a little older, he started older, so that was always tough to handle, but I'm pretty competitive, so I never really liked that. So I worked hard, and actually Hayden did the same thing. He didn't like me being better than him, so he went out and put some extra hours in.
And so it goes in a household like the Sasses, with 3 boys all playing the same sports. Just ask the youngest, Hayden.
Oh, yeah, Mason not really, to be honest. I don't really know where he was in the whole. But Connor and I definitely, we were always neck and neck with whatever we were doing.
A freshman, Hayden has joined junior Connor and assistant coach Mason as a Cardinal this season. And as you would expect amongst brothers, there were certainly some growing pains.
It felt like a little bit, we were stepping on each other's toes at first because we just didn't understand kind of the expectations of each of us. But ultimately found out that, hey, we're just trying to make each other better and help each other along the way here.
Mason being my coach, that's something different. That's hard to do, to be honest. Listen to your older brother, telling him, being told what you're doing wrong and thinking like, oh, you're just my brother, just messing with me or something.
And while there often is some time to mess around, there's also been a lot of learning too.
Mason's a very, he's a leader kind of person. He likes to be in charge. He likes to know what's going on. So it kind of pushes me to be more of a leader, and having Hayden, I always feel like a big brother, and I feel like a big brother to a lot of people on this court.
That feeling of being pushed led Connor to being named the Merle Chapman Leadership Award winner, the CCIW's recognition of each school's top student-athlete leaders.
I'm real proud of Connor because that is an award that is exemplary of him on the court and off the court.
On top of it all, with all 3 now at NCC, it solves another issue for other Sass family members.
We're all trying to fight. We all play at the same time. My mom has to pick one of us to go watch. And you always felt like the special child when you got that one person watching you like your mom.
Special treatment, no more.
Welcome back, and we're joined by Victor Kruger and Adam Winters in the hot seat. And Victor, you're from Sweden, and it's you're here for 4 years. What was the process like for you to come over and now take up your time here at NCC?
It's been a cool process, a fun process, a hard process at times too. I graduated from high school, and I had 2 years back home where I did different works, and I didn't know right away that I wanted to go to the US. But one main part was that I have a tennis school in the summers back home. That really got my interest up for tennis again, and that in that way I applied to university here, and through the organization in Sweden I got in contact with North Central College, and that's how I ended up here.
Now, obviously, you speak really good English.
Thank you.
And it's apparently not the only language you speak. You speak 4, make it almost 6 now.
Yeah. If my minors go well, yeah.
And so what are those languages?
Swedish, obviously.
Well, I hope.
And English. So Swedish, English, Danish, German, and then I take Spanish right now, my second course. I hope to take at least 4 classes on college level in that. And I hope to take a minor in Chinese.
Whew.
Yeah. Working on 2.
Yeah, I was just going to say, and you're doing Spanish.
Yeah, working on 1 language right now, so.
So now you guys get 10 wins, and this was one of the goals that you guys came into the season with, Adam, and how excited were you to get to that plateau?
Double digits wins, we were talking about that in the beginning of the season. That was one of our goals, and we were really amped to try and get there. And this year, definitely, we had the talent, we knew we did, and we wanted to put in the work. And so to actually, when we went and got that 10th win, it felt amazing. Not all the guys could make it to that match, but we were texting the group chat saying, guys, we did it. Like, we accomplished our goal, and everybody was really happy. And, the conference tournament is still coming up, so we have more wins to keep building off of, and it's just a really cool goal to actually reach.
Now, speaking of the conference tournament, it's coming fast. It's coming
Very fast.
May 5th, I think it is.
Yep.
You start feeling that adrenaline push? Is it coming?
Yeah. Well, when the season starts to end, we start talking more and more about the conference tournament, and we start thinking about, the lineups, who are going to be playing, and all that jazz. And I think this year we have the depth to keep going.
Yeah.
All the matches that we've played, we've always put up a really good fight against all the teams. So we do have the potential to make a really deep push. And so when it's coming this fast and it's just that much more real, it's really cool to think about, especially when we have that potential. So
now a lot of success has come between you and Connor as well in doubles. How has it been working with Connor in that aspect? Because he's kind of the team leader in a sense.
Yeah, definitely. And he's 2 years younger, school years wise at least. And he's been a great mentor to be able to play with him in doubles. Has been very good, and especially my first year to have him has been very nice. He's really been helping out, and appreciate him.
Now, as players, and I asked Coach the same question, is it fun for you guys to have 3 brothers on the same team, and Mason, Connor, and Hayden?
I think it's more fun for the newspapers and for the TVs.
So it doesn't really impact you guys very much?
I wouldn't say so. I mean, it's first when I heard that they had the same last name that I really reflected about it. They are not that, I mean, we're tight friends. I guess that's kind of explains or tells that we are tightest team too, that I couldn't tell because everybody are kind of, good friends with each other, definitely.
Now, talking about doubles, I want to get back to this as well. You guys play both doubles and singles over the course of a single match, and I'll go to Adam for this one. Is it difficult having to switch from that doubles mentality to the singles mentality?
it has to be like a flip of a switch, because once you're done with doubles, it's like you're put right on in singles. So the doubles dynamic is we want to get out there, we want to get those 3 wins.
Yeah.
We stress in practice all the time that we need that energy, we need to get fired up. You get that 3-0 lead, your momentum is soaring. So, even if you don't get those 3 wins, the transition is, all right, you're in singles now. You got to switch that mode. And the mentality in singles is you're definitely on your own. Yeah. You don't have your doubles partner to rely on at times. So what we talk about in practice is you got to have your mental game higher.
Yeah. And
you got to keep pushing the balls deeper. Your stamina has to be up. And no matter what, though, you try and keep the energy high.
Yeah. This is the last thing we'll get to, Victor. Especially in your single matches, whenever you get a big point, you'd have the fist pump.
Yeah.
Is that kind of your way of just gearing up and getting that adrenaline pumping?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's the way I pump myself up, and I definitely agree with that. I mean, you need to do that in singles, especially to really get that mental, focus that you want to have.
You think we're going to see a lot of fist pumps come the conference tournament?
Definitely.
Best of luck, guys. We'll be watching. It'll be really fun to see. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming up next, we have the women's tennis team coming on. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report.
Introducing a new day of the week. Someday. Now, everything you were going to do someday is on the calendar. Want to retire someday? You'll really want this. A My Social Security account at socialsecurity.gov. You can estimate your future benefits and manage current benefits online. Millions of people have a My Social Security account. Get yours today, because someday is here at socialsecurity.gov.
We're back, and Lydia Pond joins me first on set. And Coach, the spring has been pretty kind for you guys. A 6-game winning streak, and it's kind of nice, I'm sure, to enter winter and go right into that. What's been working for you guys?
I think we really just have a team commitment, which has been great. I think we're seeing that people are committed to the process. I think our spring season has been a little bit more intense than it has been previously for my team. So I think kind of just transitioning, doing well in the fall, making it through the winter seasons, the holidays, all those things. You have to stay committed to just the process. So you still have to train, you have to work out, you have to play tennis, and you have to do all those things like outside of what we can do. So we started at the end of February, and we've just kind of been cruising. So I think it's really, kudos to my girls for working really hard in the off season to kind of get us in this point, because you don't want to work really hard all fall and then lose it all, and eat too many turkey dinners and all of those things. So it's nice to kind of just transition in, and our fitness level's where it needs to be, and we're still good at tennis. So it's just easy to kind of move into those matches and do well.
Now, you just finished your last regular season match, and you already qualified for this automatic qualifier back in the fall, so now you get to actually play it. Prospects for that? You feeling pretty confident going in?
It's going to be tough. I mean, I would be lying to you if I said that wasn't going to be tough. We're going to play Augustana, who's number 1. They were tough in the fall. They were tough again in the spring. But we've kind of set ourselves up in the spring season. We could have played really easy matches and just beat people every single day. We definitely had some tough matches, and some that we won and some that we lost. And I kind of set the schedule up in that way that we were ready to play the Augustana level of competition. We play Augustana, Carthage, and Wheaton are at the top of our conference. We're number 4, and we're trying to kind of just chip away at them every little bit that we can. So if we play bad teams, we're not going to be successful in that. So we definitely had some challenging matches, but I think we're going to come out, we're going to play hard, we're going to give it our all. It'll go quick on Friday, you know, in terms of like you have to start winning right away, and then whoever wins Friday moves on to Saturday. And we're hopeful that that will be us and we get to represent North Central in the national tournament, but we'll just see what happens.
Hey, anything can happen once you get in.
It's true.
And you sound like a seasoned coach. This is only your first year coaching collegiate tennis. How's that experience been like?
It's been great. I think having a good group of girls makes it enjoyable. I think if it was challenging in that part, it makes everything else a little bit more challenging. But the girls want to be there, they want to win, they want to play, and they want to compete. So that makes it easy for me and my assistant coach in terms of that transition. The tennis community is also very nice, and the coaches have been great in the conference. Just like, hey, we do this. We hosted. So I took on the job in June, last June, and then in October we hosted the conference tournament. So in my first couple months on the job, we were hosting the entire thing. So I think everybody's just been very welcoming, and obviously North Central's athletic staff has been helpful as well in the transition, but whether it be trainers or scheduling or facilities, all those things. So it's kind of made it a little bit easier to kind of take that over.
Well, you played tennis in college, so I'm sure you're drawing from that experience as well, but you did so at a fairly large school, Eastern Illinois. Now you take that experience to North Central. How is that translated between the two?
I think it's very beneficial that I played at that level. But it's also good because you get to bring it back. We're Division III. You know, student athlete is a true word, and we want people to be student athletes first. When I was in college, we couldn't have class after 1 o'clock every single day because we had to travel, we had to train, we had to do all these things. If one of my girls comes up to me and says, hey, I have a really important test, or I have a meeting for the Honor Society, all those things, we have the flexibility that's in there. So I think if I not had that, you get to be like, oh, it's not as intense. And obviously, those are scholarship players and all of those things at the Division I level. And we're just... what I try and preach to my girls is you are a student athlete, and there's 3 things that kind of in order that goes: your family, your education, and then this team. And that's the order, and that's kind of how I operate, and that's how I want them to operate. And like, take care of yourself, do all the things you need to do, but remember you're still a part of this team, and that it's a high priority. But your education, your family, yourself are above all those things.
I feel like that message kind of goes across all the NCC sports. It's really nice just to see that culture as a whole at North Central. The next thing I wanted to ask was, speaking of culture at North Central, you lead trips to different cultures. The other, Kenya and Germany. What drew you to those 2 places, and kind of take me through the process of what you do? Yeah,
I think North Central does a great job of, we want our students to be well-rounded and, be productive members of society, and we think we want our faculty and staff to do the same thing. And there's always opportunities to travel and just help other people. Most of those have been on mission trips or service trips across the country. And it's just, I'm volunteering my time to lead these students in an experience. I've applied for them, and that's how you get to go. So it's nothing crazy that I've chosen. We went to Kenya for 3 weeks, Germany for 3 weeks. I went to Guatemala last summer for a week. And it's just helping other people. It's kind of, and I preach that to my girls also, like, be present when you're here, but it's also not all about you. And I think that kind of carries over, as we want them to think about other people. And so if you lead by example and you're like, hey, we're going to go to feed my starving children today as a team, if they know that I'm going with them or that I've done the same things, like, it makes it a little bit easier to kind of carry over.
Well, best of luck in that automatic qualifier conference championship. It's going to be a lot of fun. We look forward to seeing what you guys can do.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for stopping by. Coming up next, we have Claire O'Connor and Kelsey Forkin on set. We'll be right back on the Cardinal Report.
This week's Play of the Game is a fairly obvious choice, and that choice is Jenna Amazalorso's highlight reel grab in right field against Wheaton. The Cardinals may not have won the game, but Amazalorso snags one of the season's top plays in our Cardinal Report's Play of the Game.
Welcome back, and we're joined by Claire O'Connor and Kelsey Forkin. And Claire, I want to start with you. You guys came out really hot out of the winter, which is, I'm sure, really nice for you guys. And I mentioned this to Coach, a 6-match win streak. Was it fun to kind of go through that and have that be the start to the spring season?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I felt like it gave us a lot of confidence. And then we played some tougher matches, but it's helpful. We play Augustana this Friday.
Yeah.
So they're really good. So we played like Lewis and St. Mary's, who did beat us, but it definitely helped for Friday.
Now, you guys are both, you're a double pairing, but I want to talk about singles first. You're having a lot of success as, I think, the primary three singles player. Is it nice just knowing that you're contributing to the team's success when you win those matches?
Yeah, I felt like I've been playing my best tennis this season. And yeah, it feels good to like have a lone win like against St. Mary's and stuff. But I definitely think it depends who you play. Like Kelsey definitely had a really hard opponent, but my girl got frustrated. I just had to like target that and get in her head and hit some winners and just get her mad. And that's what I tried to do. And that's why I got that win.
Right, and that, of course, that helps. Kelsey, you're also having a lot of success playing singles. You're kind of shifting between the 2 and the 3, I noticed, and having success at both. Is it hard to bounce between the 2? I mean, is the level of play different at the 2 different spots?
I think it will be more once we get back into like conference matches and stuff. It's a lot different. But the teams that we've been playing now, like Lewis, their depth is like crazy. Like they're 1 through 4, they're all good. So it's like no matter what spot I played, I would have been like had a difficult opponent. But the other teams that we were playing that were relatively easy, like those you could have played any spot and any of us could have won. So I think once we get into conference, it's going to make a huge difference playing 2 instead of 3. Yeah. But right now, it hasn't really been affecting me as much. So
it kind of changes team by team as opposed to spot by spot on that team.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think that a lot of, and especially with our team, like all of us, especially like our team, like we could definitely switch up our spots and like we would just be as successful with most.
That's the mark of a good team, right?
Yeah.
Now you guys are a double pairing, and I'm always interested, does the chemistry off the court translate on the court? And I'll go to Kelsey for this.
I think so, especially with me and Claire. We were really good friends before we started playing with each other because I played with Ren, who was older, and then she graduated. And then me and Claire got together, and I think since we were such good friends, it went really easily. And now, I mean, now it's the same. Like we're just really good friends, and we get to play with each other, so it's really nice.
Now, Claire, well, both of you really, but I'll go to Claire for this one. You've been able to have the experience with 2 different coaches. Now, Coach Pond is here. Is the vibe a little bit different this year with her in charge?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but not like in a bad way, not in a good way. Not like it's just different. Different genders. She's a female. It's just different conversation and different. We also have a GA who is a huge help. She went to Chicago State and she hits with us and stuff, and she's able to hit with us too because Ron and Don weren't. Yeah. But, so it's just different.
I feel like before we hopped on air, this might be the most sarcastic group of athletes I've had on the show. Do you guys have a lot of fun, in and out of practice, in and out of meets?
Yeah, we're all really close. We hang out outside of practice and inside practice. Like, it's just fun. Yeah. We all joke. We are all super close. We all have like the same sense of humor. So
that's got to be nice too, especially when you go into a match like this upcoming Friday when it's going to be super serious. Do you try and keep it light on the court when you get to a conference match like this Friday?
Yeah, I think our entire team's like that. Our coach would probably like us to be a little bit more serious than we are, but we're just a really like talkative and like jokative team. So I think that's always going to be something that we do no matter what team we're going to play against.
What's the recipe for success come this conference tournament?
Just play our hearts out. We got to play lights out on Friday and really put everything on line because they're a tough team, and we're going to really have to play really well to win.
Now, I want to talk about stuff off the court. I want to talk a little bit about studying. What exactly are you studying? You said something about accounting.
Finance and economics.
Finance and economics, which goes right over my head, but you seem interested in it. What is it about it that draws you to it?
My dad did economics, and my brother does accounting, my mom did accounting, so it just like runs in the family, and I think I want to do sales, actually. Cool. I think that would be interesting, so I don't know, it's just a good major, and the business department, so I chose that.
It's pretty strong in North Central, too. Kelsey, you're in the health field.
Yes, I'm a psychology major right now, and then I'm hoping to go to nursing school after to get,
Now, I don't know if those 2 programs necessarily like to send people abroad, but would you guys consider a trip with Lydia out to Kenya? to Germany?
Like a D-term thing? I always did think about that.
Maybe not with Lydia. We spent a lot of time with her already, so I don't know.
A little too much of her.
Guys, we appreciate you stopping by, and best of luck in this tournament. We look forward to seeing what you guys can do.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's all the time we have on this episode of the Cardinal Report. Thanks to all of our guests for stopping by. I'm Kevin Jackman. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.